Today in studio, we have some very special guests joining us. Robert and Erik Arias of Arias Bros Jiu-Jitsu. Welcome to the show, fellas.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming on, guys.
Yeah, I'm excited to kind of hear about all the stuff you guys have going on. I know we were just chatting a lot before it, so I apologize if I ask you shit again. So you guys are twin brothers, right?
Yes, sir.
Man, and Robert, you got into jiu-jitsu a lot.
Yeah, I think when I very first started jiu-jitsu was about 2007.
Okay.
So, yeah, I started in St. Louis at one of the MMA gyms. Obviously, back there, jiu-jitsu gyms wasn't as isolated. It was more like programs inside MMA gyms. And I mean, it was more raw. Also, like, you probably only had to do it a couple days a week. It wasn't like, a lot of it was just striking, more, MMA based. But, yeah, there was not a lot of gi jiu-jitsu either. So I feel like it's definitely progressed in the past couple years for sure. But yeah, it was a long road, to get to where I'm at now.
Yeah,
now
black
you got
belt, man. How long have you been a black belt now?
No, November 14th will be 2 years.
Damn.
So yeah, finally got the black belt, man. And it's
congratulations. That's awesome.
It's cool. It's a good accomplishment. Very excited about that. But there's still days I feel like I suck.
Oh, dude, 100%. I'll feel like I'm on top of the world one day, and then I just go in and just get humbled. And
just get humbled.
Okay, well, I'm not that good.
You got, especially after a long day of work, you got that nice young blue belt that just saw you come and take off them boots, and it's like,
yeah, he's coming
for
target. You. He wants to talk about how he subbed a black belt today.
Yeah, exactly.
We know all about that, don't we, Erik?
I'm hunting.
Yeah. So you got into it long before you did, right?
Oh yeah, I watched him for like 8 years, like just do jiu-jitsu before I even got into it.
Now, like, I mean, you guys are twin brothers. Like, probably, I would imagine you guys did a lot of the same shit growing up, right? Or no?
Yeah,
you guys kind of both went different.
Little bit. I got into, like I said, I was big into. I watched the MMA stuff. I seen the the early Gracie, UFC, and it was like, man, how did this guy win when he's on his back? You see that stuff, and you're like, man, I gotta see what the hell that is. Oh, they're doing this in California. Then one day I heard it was some couple gyms or whatever. I was just looking it up. I'm like, oh, there's a place to actually do this in St. Louis. I'm like, all right. I lived in Greenville at the time. That's where we went to school, Greenville High School. So it's probably about
Is that over Illinois?
Yeah. So they got a college over there. From here,
about an hour,
at least like a little over an hour. So it was, far, but I'm like, hey, this is what I want to do. I'm going to at least try to go do it as much as I can. And, I got into that, I was making that thing, obviously we're teenagers. He wanted to do more teenager things. So he hung out, didn't really get into it. And then,
partied.
Partied, you get a little.
I was a professional partier.
Yeah, you take that little route. I just really had a passion for it early on, so it's something that I just chose to do instead of like party as much. Don't get me wrong, I did my partying fair share, but did that, and then years later moved up this way. Had my girls, so we moved out of Bond County. It was really small. At the time, it was getting very bad with drugs, and so it was just a place I was like, I don't want my daughters being here. I'm going to move to Edwardsville. It's a very good area in Illinois. I was like, it's not even about them taking all the opportunities I give them, but at least giving it to them, to present it to them. That's kind of my job, as a father. And so we moved up there shortly after he moved up, and then it was like, hey, we don't got a lot of the stuff we got back home now, Right. All you got is the jiu-jitsu guys to hang out with. So it's like, getting him in, and then finally he pulled the trigger and he started training, and like get that first dub. Once you get that first dub and that competition too, it's like,
yeah, I think Josh hooked. Was actually, Josh had a promo going on for like 6 month like membership or whatever, and it was like really cheap. Like I think at that time it ended up being only like $50 a month. So I'm like, cool, here I'll sign up and do 6 months and try it.
So you'd been watching him, or like, have you ever beat up on him before? And make him show you it works?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. Like, I was in denial. You know what I mean? It's what it really is. Like, I thought I didn't need it. I was already the tough guy. And so, you know what I mean? Like just egos. And that's why like I'm probably the guy who has like the least ego in the gym or just period. Cause like I know that egos ain't nothing but air bubbles, you know what I mean, that's filled, you know, and so but yeah, he had that. And so I'm like, okay, cool. You know what I mean? Joined up, did my first training, and I started catching rides with him, started training more. Then I'm like, all right, you know, and I was like, I don't want to wear the gi. I'm like, let me just do this what everybody else is doing. He's like, no, like he made me wear the gi. And so he's like, trust me, he's like, you got to get the gi in. And so like then for a while, it was to a point to where I'm like, I started going without him. And dude, I was training like as a white belt 6 days a week. You know what I mean? Just in the gi, just training, training, training. And after 6 months, had my first tournament in St. Louis at the AGF, and I won it. Very first one. After 6 months, I'm like, oh yeah. I was like this, I'm hooked now. And so still continue training gi stuff, you know what I mean? And then American Nationals came for the IBJJF like a few months later. Worlds, they didn't have Worlds because of COVID. They didn't have pans.
2020, I believe.
Yeah, 2020. They didn't have pans. None of that. So they only had American Nationals at the end of the year in December, and so everybody went there. People were flying in from Brazil, doing all that. You know what I mean? Everybody went there. So like me, I didn't know. Robert and Josh are like, yeah, we're gonna do this. And I'm like, cool, I'll do it. I'm thinking it's just a IBJJF. This is just another organization. It's just a regular tournament. And then I get there and they're like, no, yeah, this ain't the Open. This is American Nationals. I'm like, okay, so this is just an American National Open. And then they're like, no, this is American Nationals, the IBJJF. Like, and then I see the
biggest fucking thing.
And then I see the Meow Brothers coming and I'm like, oh, snaps. And I'm warming up. Dude, I instantly go to the trash can, throw up. I throw up. They're like, hey, you're going to be on in 20 minutes. I go out there, and I mean, I just blow. Dude, like, I'm takedown, pass. Dude, I tech him like 13-0. And, dude, the lactic acid buildup and everything, I'm like, I go throw up again. Then go out to my second one, tech the other guy like 10-0. You know what I mean? Then I go throw up again. You know what I mean? Go out to my finals match and I end up losing. But this is my second match. And the guy was out of Robert Drysdale's gym. He actually got his blue belt right on the podium. And he'd already been doing it for years. And I'm like, man, dude, I haven't even been doing it for a year yet. Like, dude, I belong. And probably was so crazy. Had I had won that like that, the way I did it, I probably would have got my belt on the podium. And I'm like, dude, like it just showed that I belonged. And I was like, yeah, you know, like I could do this even as a competitor, you know what I mean? And at the time, like after that tournament, like I was already like beating a lot of blue belts anyway, having good rounds of purple belts. And so shortly after that, got my blue belt and dude pretty much was just hooked because from there it was just like I couldn't go back, you know what I mean? I was already invested money, invested time. It's all I wanted to do. And I was already spending like a lot of my time there because like I said, I trained more then than I do now. Like because and I lived like an exit down right there in Glen Carbon. So like to drive to Josh's, it was nothing. So like I was heck, besides me training 6 times a week, dude, I was driving there a couple of times to watch some of the other classes and stuff like that. Like I remember when he would do the no-gi and like I'd be getting off work or something. I'm like, I'm gonna just drive by there and just stop in and watch. And like him and Casey Chrono and all those guys was already training and Christian Myers at the time. Like there'd be a lot of guys, Dylan Dalton, they'd be in the no-gi class already training. So I'd go there and watch. I wasn't allowed to do it. He didn't let me do no-gi. So at that time and now, like, I think that's why all I want to do now is no-gi because like I was forced for 2 years to just do gi to the point to where when I got my blue belt, I did my first blue belt year in the gi. And then I took 2 years off where I didn't even throw it on for training.
Really?
And just competed. I went and did the ADCC trials as a blue belt, did all that. And I was just happy to not throw the gi on. I think, you know what I mean? And so like for that, it was like, you know what I mean? That was the career. And then, you know what I mean? Did a few black belt matches at blue belt. did a few brown belt matches at blue belt. And then finally at the end of 2023, I got my purple belt. And so I think at the end of this year, we got promoted at the same time. I got promoted the same time he got promoted to black belt. So
Nice.
when
at
he's at 2 years at black belt, I'll be 2 years at purple. So, you know what I mean? And finally did my first official, like, kind of purple belt tournament and actually won it 2 weeks ago, the ADCC Louisville. And so I did that, and I actually felt pretty good. I executed the game plan, the ankle lock that I was working on for like literally like months. Like I was drilling it. Like I was able to hit that exact one and
Same
broke
setup.
a guy's foot in half.
Sick.
Literally.
You broke his foot in half?
Yeah.
Oh,
dude,
we got
like it
pictures,
looked like
dude.
he had a brake pad in his foot.
Oh,
Like that was the
God.
best
Oh
way
my God.
to explain it.
Look,
Like
It just wasn't tapping.
dude, so here's the thing. I guess he had his foot broke before, and like I could tell he was kind of like shooting up a bit because like when I broke it, like I felt it, like it broke, and my hand fell off. There was a toe hold, boom, and it fell off.
Look at that.
And then I
Oh,
I refigure forward the grip
After
and
it broke?
did and did it again because he like
wasn't-
kind of fake tapped.
Yeah,
But
it was
like-
like a very light
But then
Brazilian
like he
tap.
kept on
No.
going,
Yeah.
and the ref still was going there. And so I like re-singed the knee line, figure four, got the Kimura grip, and then sent it again.
Well,
or whatever.
Yeah, I see.
And-
Like I seen you get a good grip, and I saw it. I was like, man, he folded it, and I was like, man, okay. But then when you got like, it almost looked like you had so deep. Your hands looked like it was just rear naked choke. I was like,
Yeah.
you were so deep in grabbing up onto the forearm. I'm like, yeah, you're not gonna strip this one, and it was just another one, bam, and it was just like,
dude,
finally
like and
finished
he
it.
Did it
walked,
snap?
dude,
Get
yeah,
loud?
like
no,
three
yeah,
times.
no, it was like this.
Oh my gosh.
It was like pop, and then it was like a boom, like where the bone, like kind of
Like you just
could
folded
feel
the foot.
feel the flesh kind of roll.
You made a wallet
off of
crease
it.
in that
Oh.
dude's
And-
instep.
First time I ever broke a bone in a match or anything, and I was like, dude, I'm like, and when I did it the first
I knew
time,
you-
like I actually stopped. That's why I did it. And then like he was
Well,
kind
yeah,
of
dude. I
he
mean,
was
I think
kind
I
of
would
wiggling
too.
around, and the ref was going, and so that's what made me do it again.
I
But
was like,
the dude walked to the podium. I talked to him for like a half hour. You know what I mean? Invited me out to the gym, and he's like, yeah, he's like at one time it broke like 7 times. He's like, so the fact that it only broke twice, he's like, it's fine. And I was talking to his coach, and he's like, yeah, he's like, and his foot was like broke or
yeah,
whatever.
his
So,
coach
like,
had like an S foot. Like I guess
Dude,
it was like
dude,
some
like-
deformity though,
Like,
from whatever.
I
but it
wonder
was
if like
whoa.
their initiation
What's wrong
was
with these people?
breaking foot.
What the fuck?
Man,
And so-
you can't train at their gym if your foot doesn't look like a
Like,
fucking
it was
apostrophe or
weird.
something like that, you know?
But they invited me out and stuff like that, like really good guys. But like the whole fact was like he walked to the podium and like he was fine. Like, and when I popped it, he didn't go, or like none of that. And then I looked and I was like, oh yeah, like he's on some good recovery because like just
Yeah,
off
I
of
mean,
that.
you seen it. That
Like here's the thing.
Yeah.
I would at least
You know.
been like, what the fuck? Or
Well, I remember when you was
tap or-
walking off, I was like, man, hell yeah, good job. And you're like, dude, I fucking broke his foot.
And he
Just
started,
like that.
he
That's what
started
he did.
laughing. He didn't believe me.
I
He's
started
like,
laughing.
he's like,
And
yeah,
then he was
whatever.
like, he's like, dude, seriously. He's like, swear to God, I broke his
And,
foot. I
and
was
then,
like, cool.
and then
I was like,
one,
good.
one of the kids' coaches, Mike Allen,
Yeah.
came over and was like, he just told his coach he broke his foot. I said, told you, Robert. And then went up,
I didn't
went up to
believe
the
it till we
podium.
got to the podium, and that was
and-
where that pig was at.
And
It
then,
was
dude,
like,
I didn't even look at it. And he comes up to the podium. I look down. I'm like, dude. And he's like, yeah, man. He's like, it's all good. I'm
What
like,
is that?
I'm like, how? Like, but how are you walking? Like, because if it was me, I'd have just collect my medal and been cool. Like, but he took the podium pick. The other guy didn't even take the podium pick. Like, I guess he was just salty. He just lost to me and the other guy. And
I
so,
hate that.
like, he didn't even take his, but the other guy took his, took the tap, took the foot along with it, and like he was cool, invited me to the gym. Great guy. like, and honestly, dude, it sucks because like he was one of the better guys like I've met. Like, and that's how it always happens. It's like it's the better guys, like never cocky, you know what I mean? Has similar stuff in common, like because we was both in the 155 division. Like we're like, we always got to go to 175 to 180 for any tournaments that we ever do. And then if guys don't show up, we're 195, 200 all the time.
Oh God, that's
All the time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mine's
And
always
so-
similar. I got stories like that. It's like
And-
mine's always similar, but I always like lose to the nice guy.
Well, no, but here's the thing about
I don't get
that.
to break a nice guy's foot.
About that, it's like I'd always do fairly well, but there's a point where I wasn't on the top of the podium for like 2.5 years. And so I told Robert, I'm like, dude, like I am I'm not gonna win. I'm not gonna lose though. Like I refuse to lose. Like this one, I went with a mindset like I refuse to lose. And so like I finally won and to win like 2 matches in a row. Like I haven't done that in like 2.5 years. And so like I've won some or did well or made it or I'd fall short at the top of the podium. Like even like the American Nationals fell short. You know what I mean? So it's like I was falling short or I was just fighting guys that were bigger or they were brown belts or
that was probably the
some were
most
black
levelist
belts.
competition
And
I've seen you
to
have,
finally
though,
fight guys that were
to be
my
fair.
weight, belt, and age, like
Yeah.
I haven't did that in 3 years. And so it was like, man, like just going against the higher level belts and stuff like that. Like when I did this one, I was like, man, like I executed like perfect, like the way I wanted to, my passing, everything. And so like it was cool, you know what I mean? Like, and like I was happy when I did it because I was like, man, like I just haven't been able to display my jujitsu against a level playing field in like a while. And so like it was cool, you know what I
Dude,
mean?
That's awesome.
Yeah, you guys have that match on video where you broke.
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
I got
We
You'll have
that.
to send that
Send
to
that
us.
to us.
and
we
we'll,
got it, and it's on Flow Grappling too. So if you got Flow Grappling,
I got one
you
of
could
the.
look up Erik Arias, and you could see my ones where I crapped the bed in New Jersey in 2023, going against the young adults. Like one of the guys,
I got like a million
lost
of
to
those.
18-year-old, lost to 18-year-old kid, had him in a toe hold.
Story
He
of my
ate
life.
it, dude. Had him in a go-go plata, ate it. Omoplata ate it. Went to go take my back. I turtled out, went and stacked him, and when I stacked him, got armbarred. And so it was like I was going against the young guys, and like that's when I was like, oh yeah, like, dude, I was like, man, I felt bad like losing to 18-year-olds, and I was like, just no, this is what they do. This you're not seeing the 25-year-old guys. No, it's the 15 and 18-year-olds who are training 2-3 times a day,
and they've been doing it their whole fucking life.
and they've been doing it
Yeah.
since they was 3. So it's like this. They don't got to be on the sauce or nothing. They're already just their body's adapted to training full time, and so they're actually better than the guys that are even on the sauce.
Yeah, 9 times
It's
out of
like-
10, the most 18-year-olds that are really good you see training now, they've probably got about a decade of training, and it's
Mhm.
just like,
Dude, and they're the future of the sport. Like these are the guys. They're not only going to be gym owners, but their family owns gyms, and they're competing under their family's gyms until they're like 28, where they already competed 10 years at black belt. They got a steep 200 match at juvenile career alone. They done went to juvenile blue belt pans at least 8 times. Dude, they got a steep purple belt record to the point to where they're brown and black belts. It doesn't even matter because when they're at purple belt and they're competing at black, they got more matches than the black belts
yeah,
anyway.
half the reason why they're not black belts is because it's like, oh yeah,
It's an
I'm like
age thing.
17 or something.
It's
you
like
know what I
having
mean?
a steep college, high school, and junior high wrestling career all in jiu-jitsu at the highest level.
Yeah.
and
And
then
they could do-
they
they
turn
could-
18.
And then they turn 18 and then okay, now it's adults and they've been doing flying arm bars for 10 years.
Yeah, it's like you see like an adult black belt or something. It's like, or just even a regular black belt, and it's like, oh yeah, you know, I did it for this so long, but it's almost like you said, I only had the high school career, but now we're both in college because we're at the same level, but yet
It's like
you
everybody
had
gets
like
to go to
this
college for
extent
free.
junior high,
15.
elementary, you know, you still been doing it longer, but it's like, yeah, I just got to do it through my whole adult, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? And the only thing that held them back was like the age restriction or whatever it was per belt or some IBJJF system
Like
that
I'm
they didn't
jealous.
want
I'm gonna
to
be honest. I'm
promote for
jealous.
us.
And it's because I didn't start it when I was even 15, and these kids are starting it.
Well, and
literally
you got to think
at
now though,
3
it's
and 4.
that's generational because like I could even tell you what it was like as freshman year of high school, and it's like, dude, it was never like, dude. I remember when
Nobody
you
did.
got in and you got your blue belt. I was like, dude, even that 5-year mark, like I was a purple belt, and it was like, boom, it was like you got your blue belt, and I was like this. But even from that year, it was like the last 5 years.
Yeah, my training was
so
better than
much
yours.
more, so much more. It's like you could take the blue belts there. It was like this, the crap you were doing was like way different than the stuff I was doing. It was,
That's
it was,
because
it was less,
my
less
training was better
refined.
than
You know,
his.
it was more raw. It was less refined, and it was like you just the air. It's like it was way different. It was like, you know, it's like making cars, and it's like, yeah, now we're going from this like old classic 2000, and we got
To a
these like
Ferrari.
we got these electric cars and shit. Like it's just so much more, you know, stuff with it. You know, and the car game is just a lot more bigger and a lot more diverse with, you know, what it's equipped with. And that's kind of how jiu-jitsu is just constantly evolving. and you just got in with that first level of like, oh, we just hit this big evolve. And then in the last like maybe 2 years, we've seen an even bigger evolve. But then like 10 years ago, it was still less raw.
A week, shoot, you got now to where you could even at least do twice a day, or even some days, at some gyms, if they add a morning, you could do morning, noon, and evening. You're training 3 times a day versus even back in the day at an MMA gym, you might do 3 days a week for 2 hours.
Right.
You know what I mean?
If you took blue belts like today and put them against blue belts, the guy that was a blue belt 10 years ago, it's the guy, the blue belt today is just going to work that blue belt from 10 years ago. Like if you could just time travel, take a blue belt from,
dude, here's the thing, but that's why you even seen some of the even blue belts that are winning the trials. It's like they got steep wrestling. They've been doing it for a while, and they're young. And then you got some of the guys.
And like the average blue belt probably you're looking at, though, they're at that age and they're in the situation where they can just solely focus on that. Like you got to think, even when I started, there was no BJJ fanatics. You might have had 3 tapes, VHS tapes, to go watch some jiu-jitsu. Now this kid's logging in 20 hours a week, and you're able to learn from the best instructors and practitioners.
And it's getting so big,
in the freaking world.
There's more homeschool, because the parents are like this. All right, we make a good enough money. They see a future in this with the gym and with the competing, that they're like, hey, look, compete. Because
you see it in wrestling too. Like school wrestling, they hold their kids back a year so they could take that next year to just focus on wrestling because they just repeat the grade.
Dude, because they could win these big tournaments, get all this recognition with the social media now. Sure, you add a gym behind it, dude, and that, dude, it's like,
well, and that's where the money's at, though.
Yeah,
like if that's
and it's the recognition, like, dude, like honestly, like the jiu-jitsu's backed now. You know what I mean? Dude, like before, it was just like, all right, you're on your own. You do it solely because you like it, and there's not a lot of people who do like it.
Right?
You know what I mean? Now it's so popular where like your hobbyist trains more than the grindy competitors even 8 years ago.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, totally.
I remember when you barely had any more, like you looked at a lot of the gyms that I used to train at, heck, earlier 2000s or whatever. It was like you only had like evenings. So it was like you'd have something from like 4, maybe 5 days a week. And it was like from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. And that was it. There was no morning training. So if like you were the 9 to 5 guy, you only got to train in the evening. Or if you worked, overnights, I remember when I had a job working nights, it was like 2 in the afternoon to 10 at night. I didn't train for a year and a half because I was like, oh, I missed training. Right. Who's training at noon? Who's training at 9? There's no 6 a.m. jiu-jitsu classes. There was none of this. Now it's gotten more popular. It's like, oh yeah, we got different instructors, or they're opening isolated gyms. So now it's like, oh yeah, we're gonna focus more on this. We're gonna broaden the class schedule. Oh hey, now the world is like, hey, we're not gonna run off a one-time schedule. We're gonna actually cater to all the midnight workers now. Finally, after 15 freaking years, and it's like, oh, so I can train now, and it's just nuts to see that. So there's no matter what your schedule is now. I mean, it's a lot easier to work around, if you have a busy schedule to kind of get your training in than it was, 10 plus years ago. And it's nuts to see.
Well, not to mention too, now you got the level of coaches that are even better. I mean, just think, you didn't have that much, like limited options back then. And now you've got all these gyms with all even you've talked about it, the amount of black belts.
Yeah. I mean, when I first started, I started it'll be 7 years this month that I've been training. And like, man, when I first started, like a black belt was like a unicorn, like you saw, like there was, I remember like when I first started, I remember talking to Ezra because that was my first coach at Finney's. And I remember asking him like,
was he a black belt at when you trained when he was black belt, right?
Yeah. And, I think he had that match with Dean Lister. Like, I remember he told us that and stuff. Yeah. And
that was with the trials, right? ADCCs. Yeah. I remember that.
And I've watched that. Ezra passed him, got him in mount. Dude. And then I think he got him in a heel hook from bottom mount, or like he was able to get to like 50-50.
Dean Lister's footlocks are so
dude,
nasty, bro.
He's
like he was a big, huge
innovator.
OG innovator.
Blocker,
Dude,
it's
OG
like the whole
innovator.
famous John Danaher, why ignore only 50% of the human body or whatever,
That dude
I think he was the one who said that.
Dude, some of the locks you'd see him slap on were so like that the corkscrew one that he does. It's like a modified like reverse toe hold. It's so nasty. Like I see that, like, and I literally just when I watched it even put on, I don't know. I could just feel it in my knees. It just, I get that little cringe just watching even like that move. But some of those locks he put on was nasty. It's like, and you see him hit them at full blown speed in competition. It's like,
yeah. Well, I mean, and you know, like I was saying, I mean, black belts were unicorns, man, back then. There was not very many. And now, I mean, how many I mean, we got one right here, but I mean, how many black belts are in the St. Louis area? There's probably
a lot more.
Well, and even at your gym too.
At our gym, we're
and they just had 3 new ones.
Yeah, they just got promoted 3 black belts like last
week. Who got Uso got promoted?
Uso did, Andrew Bright and Eli.
Okay,
yeah, dude. I mean, I think we were counting the other day. I think Kyle's got like 14 or 15 black belts.
Dude, we probably even at the head now. I want to say we got at least probably about 12.
Yeah,
because I think last promotion we did 6, 7 black belts last promotion.
It's crazy.
Yeah, because Richie had got it.
Sal.
Is Adam over there, or is Adam under Kyle?
Barberger?
Yeah.
Everybody's like under Kyle.
It's like it's all like
here's the thing. Look, just take the gyms in perspective. Who got the biggest gym? My gym, Josh's gym, everybody's gym fits into Kyle's. Therefore, we're under Kyle.
Yeah,
that's how
we're under Kyle. Yeah.
Screw the Subalantics. Here's the thing. No. Who got the Science Center gym?
The Science Center.
I remember you said that. You were like, dude, when I first walked into Kyle's, I was like, man,
when they're like TAC Team, you know what I mean? Kyle has stuff. Dude's like this. Dude, honestly, I like when he holds events because it's like this. I get a chance to walk into.
So we hold the big TAC Team training, like TAC Team.
And I look around and like I take notes, like, okay, this is how he got his laid out. Man, I want mine's like that. You know what I mean? Yeah. Or he does this like this. All right, cool. I could get mine sort of like that. You know, and so like.
Definitely a good role model.
I take notes
for the
to what I want.
It's like teaching styles, like a curriculum.
Yeah, he's so
super
organized with it. He's got
too.
like the whole year planned out. You know,
yeah,
like,
that's what I'm saying. That's
like he knows what he's. You know, he goes in like these like 6 to 8 week blocks where we work on like specific things. You know, and then like that thing goes into the next thing.
Yeah, definitely super strong.
I'm glad it's like that.
Fucking like a puzzle piece. It all goes on to the next thing.
Because even if you get somebody who's like rounded, but then you got a guy that maybe ain't as rounded, but he's better at the few things, he's more likely to do what he's better at to the other guy than the guy who's just rounded, because he's like 20% of everything versus this dude might be like 80% of this and then like 20% of something. So that 80 is going to chump all the 20s. You know what I mean? And so that's why it's like, you know, like.
So you get that guy who's the 80% guy in a position that he sucks at, like on his back.
No, yeah.
You know?
But like, you know, it's just better. Like, that's why I like sticking to like one thing, or like you said, like it'll be 8 weeks, like almost 2 months where you're just doing the one thing, and it might be boring, but it's like this. Yeah,
you get. Really
I bet you if you get there though, you're hitting it
without even thinking about it.
Yeah, one of my buddies and I we were talking about that too. It was like, I think I was talking to him the night before you were competing. I was on the phone with him, or we were just kind of talking about class stuff, and I was like, well, you know, even when I got with Josh, it was like before that I'd train at some gyms or whatever, but I think just for like, I don't know if they were just trying to make it exciting or to keep people in, but it was just like literally, it was like every day was something different. So it's like if you miss 3 days that week, you're like, you're behind. Oh, you're behind.
Where was it that you were at that you're like, yeah, you can go in on the same day and get 3 or 4 different teachers teaching something different.
Yeah, I was talking about it. Well, yeah, like Finney's. I was saying, like, you know, you'd go in and one day we'd be doing arm bars for mount, and then
you don't get that repetition. So now
you don't get it.
By the time you go back to that, you forgot it. Literally,
yeah, exactly.
You literally forgot it. So like that's the thing. When I got with Josh, I was like, we kind of did a thing where it was like we were working on, like, depending on gi or no gi, there'd be a variation, or maybe the no gi class might have been something different, but at least in the gi class, it was like, we're gonna do this. Right. And then we're going to change something to it, So the most you ever learned, like in a practice, was like a 3-step, like maybe a submission or, you know, 2 entries to that or whatever we were working on. Right. And it was like, so we do this. And then it's like, we're on this for about 2.5 weeks to 3 weeks. It was like, so you could go Monday, Wednesday, Friday, skip it, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Monday, Wednesday. We might be done that Friday. And then before we even move on. So it's like, oh man, I missed, 2 days this week. That's all right, because you're going to have the rest of the week to work on it. And at least by the time, let's say we did something in a 3-week section, and we had 3 weeks, 3 weeks, 3 weeks, 3 weeks, and then 6 months has passed before you ever seen it again or something, or seen that series. At least you did that for 3 weeks. You got some type of idea of what or at least a good like repetition rate. Like, it's like, all right, man, I don't have the muscle memory fully pat down, but it's like, I actually got an idea.
You remember something, or you pick it up a little bit better.
Yeah, I'm not
the
completely
next time.
clueless. Like, wait, did we ever fucking learn this?
Like,
Because
we
I only
just,
did it one time.
Yeah.
And one time in 6 months.
I was just
you know,
talking-
versus
I was just with my
several.
buddy last Thursday or last Friday, and he's at one of the Gracie Hamida gyms. I forget which one it was that he said he was at. But he's like, I go in, they show us what we're supposed to be practicing for 5 minutes, and then we roll for the rest of the time.
I feel like that's like what a lot of gyms, at least that's how it was when I first started at Finney's. So it's like we do like 15-minute, we do like a 20-minute warm up, you know, the classic fucking run down the mat.
God, and you know, like coming back to that, it's like how much of a waste of time.
It's
that
such a
is.
waste of time.
It's like,
I'm
dude,
so
if
glad
you
that
add up
none
the
of our
hours
gyms
now
do
and you
that.
think about that, it's
No.
like, man, that was a waste. Because I mean, we've all came from that where we've done it. You know, it's
Yeah,
that
the shrimp
traditional.
down the mat.
Was it
Yeah,
15
yeah.
minutes of warm ups?
Yeah, 15, 20
So every
minutes warm up.
four
there's-
fucking classes.
So you
you've
do
wasted
four,
the whole class.
that's what it says. So by the time you do 4 classes, you could have done 5, like four classes. You could have done 5 of jujitsu.
Yes, exactly. Because it's like you're not really learning jujitsu.
You know,
shrimping down the mat.
you do
It doesn't
that.
help
You
at
do
all.
you do that in a month. You get a whole extra week of training in a month. So if you
Yeah,
do it
it's a
like that,
lot.
so it's like, you know, the more you add to it, it's like, so how many times do we got? And I've been in the gyms. I've even been in the gyms as black belts since they're like when I've traveled. And it's like, yeah, we've done the warm ups, and it's like, all right, we'll respect the gym. But it's like, it's kind of traditional, you know, Brazilian thing. But it's like, dude, why don't we actually do something positional, like do jujitsu to warm up?
Right.
Yeah, like do a flow roll.
I don't know,
Yeah,
like-
Kyle, I mean, he's like, yeah, if you
I could do fucking cartwheels
wanna-
at home.
Yeah, if you want to warm up, get here early. You know, like, that's like his.
You know, I could
like-
jump rope over there in the
'cause
corner.
you could even
know,
drill, like hyper drill something like speed drill, like say
So-
set it on like 2 minutes.
do
and just
jujitsu.
pass the guard
Do,
as
like,
fast as you
X
can.
passes
Yeah,
back.
you know,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
that's
yeah.
still
And
even
warm up.
jujitsu. It's like if you're sitting here, you know, doing cartwheels, it's like, dude, literally, I don't have to be here to do that at all.
Right.
Mm.
No, it's,
At all.
It's stupid. I'm not a fan. I'm really glad that we don't have to do
No,
that,
that's the cool
you
thing
know?
about our team. We don't do nothing like that. You know,
Yeah.
it's like I feel like everybody's kind of adopted that. Hey, we're here to do jujitsu. It's this
Yeah,
unspoken.
we've got an
you know,
hour, it's an hour-long class. Let's not waste a
Let's
quarter
not
of
even
it,
wait.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You know, like,
And then it's like you get to actually do more technique. And then it's like if you want to actually do rounds, it's like you don't have to do 15 minutes of jujitsu. You can actually do 30 minutes of instruction and still have some live rounds.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Versus let's do the warm-ups. And then I remember being at schools too where there would be certain classes you don't even do live rounds at all. So it's like, oh, we're going to do 25 minutes of warm-up and 35 minutes of technique, and we're not going to roll. We only roll Tuesday, Thursdays. So if I can't make it in a Tuesday, let's say, and I only make it Thursday, that means
I'm
the whole
rolling
fucking
one
week
day.
I'm only rolling live once.
yeah, no way.
Tell me how you get ready for even tournaments like that if that's a strict schedule. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's like
And
you got to utilize your time.
the rolling is, it's the most fun thing you can do. But, I
Yeah.
mean, the technique, I think, is extremely important. You definitely need to be drilling technique, but like the rolling is what we stick around for.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
Like,
it's
that's what we all love.
Yeah, it's like let's
That's the
give up
best part.
give up live rolling though for warm ups. That's
Yeah,
kind of
yeah.
what you got to look at. It's like, all right, we're going to keep the technique, but now we're going to give up our live rolls for cartwheels.
Yeah, no.
It's like, no, not a fan of that.
Yeah, totally, man.
You know?
Well, kind of
Well-
getting back to where it all started, Erik, what like eventually made you like, all right, I'm gonna try this thing, like, because obviously you saw Robert doing it for years. Like, what was like the big deciding factor for you to like jump into this and then obviously fall in love with it like you did?
Well, because like I don't know, like pretty much like wasn't really in the gym, just smoking weed, you know what I mean, just hanging out. And I was like, dude, I don't know, didn't really just want to do that anymore. I'm like, let me just try something different. Like, what's the totally opposite of me? It would have been my brother because same household and everything, but just took literally 2 different paths. And so like I was like, well, man, I was going to the gym with him, talk to Steve. Steve's really the one that was like, man, because
Josh's dad.
yeah, he was like pretty much broke it down like, man, this is for everybody. He's like, man, join, man. He's like, come on, man. He's like, the family does it. And so like he kind of made it like to where it's like, oh, this ain't a thing. This is just like, this could be like a family like thing that people do. And so I'm like, all right. And so like when he's like, he's like, I do it. And I'm at the time, I don't know how old he was, but he's like, and I get out there and roll. And I'm like, okay, all right. And then he was such a nice guy, like let me hit workouts and stuff like that. And I was like, and so like I said, one day Josh was like, man, you need to join this. I'm like,
You were like showing up and just like watching.
yeah. And
practices
I
shit,
was
right?
just watching because I was riding with him. And then so like, then he had the promo. And Robert's like, yeah, look, he has the promo. I'm like, man, dude. I'm like, why not, dude? I've $300, dude. I've literally
I remember
messed this up at the strip club or at the bar. You know what I mean? Like you have a one bad night out, that's your money. You got to think about $150 on drinks, $50 on food, and if you get a parking ticket or something, you're cooked.
Ticket,
you're cooked. That's $300 right there in one night. And so like I was like, you know what, might as well. And so when I did it, I was like, man, I was in love. You know what I mean? Like, and not quite at first, but I was like, man, it's different because like I didn't know how to do the things I want to do. Like I didn't know how to drill or nothing like that. But once like I got a grasp of what I like doing, and like I was like, okay, now I know how to drill because I got things that I like doing. So now I know what I like doing. Let me drill them. You know what I mean? And so I was like, once I did that, I was like, oh yeah, now I know how to drill. Now I know how to warm up really good before my rolls and stuff like that. Like I just started getting into what I liked and started developing the game. And I was like, it's over with. But literally, like once I did my first tournament, it was over with. Like and I won it. Like done. Like because at this point, I just became a champion. I'm done. Dude, here's
the Naga champ.
Why am I going back to something when I know I could be a champion at this? And so that, like, literally, like I tell everybody, man, like if I could sell you a membership with you already being a champion, that's what I'd sell it for. And I wouldn't care what price it was. $400 a month. If you could sell somebody that as being a champion, because here's the thing.
Yeah, that feeling you try to chase that.
You're done. You're not going to get that feeling anywhere else. Like you're done. And so I always say, like, if I could sell you a membership with a gold medal, I would do it because you would forever come back. You know what I mean?
I remember one day, this how you know Erik was going to class a lot. I remember Josh was showing like, it was like an old school, like just straight ankle lock or whatever, and like beating the leg that was controlling the hip and like sitting over it. And you were like, yeah, we call that the passenger or the driver without a license. And he was like, what do you mean? He's like, if I'm driving the car, I don't got a license. He's like, and the cop pulls me over. We just shift to the passenger seat.
And dude, honestly,
I know the escape you're talking about.
Dude, honestly,
now you picture that, like, dude. But here's the thing, like, it's stuck. Literally, I was doing it the other day, just beating the foot, and I'm like, I'm just gonna sit, try to take that, and I did it. I'm like, and I started laughing during the roll. I'm like, I just can't.
It got me at defending because me playing the leg game that I like doing, it involves me getting into other people's leg games. So it's like, you gotta have the defense too. And so, just all the different ones. But yeah, that's stuck. And so it's like, that's like the basic one. Like that should be your first. It's like, then you get caught, then now you got to talk your way out of the ticket. You know what I mean? And so it's like, you know what I mean? You if you don't beat that leg.
Treat the leg lock game like a cop pulling you over and negotiating whether you're going to go to jail or not.
The ticket, you know what
Sometimes your ankle will get broke.
Yeah, so or you get tapped. You got to go bond out. So it's like, you know what I mean? So now it's like, if you don't want to talk yourself out of the ticket or bond out, you know what I mean? You do the initial step first. And dude, I could do probably like an instructional based on like, you know what I mean? A leg lock criminal activity instructional. You know what I mean?
The analogies.
You know what I mean? Like
this leg lock series is simple. It's like when you're driving without a license and you have an altercation with the law enforcement officers.
And if you didn't learn the right way, it's like going to court without a lawyer and you got a public defender trying to plead your life. You know what I mean? But yeah, and so like I got into that and you know what I mean? Like I said, I won my first one. I was hooked. And from there, like I just kept doing it, you know what I mean? Traveling. But like what I really liked, like it wasn't even just like the even training. Like I didn't leave a lot. And so like jiu-jitsu takes you places. And so I traveled everywhere, but I like the fact of being a part of something like to where we was traveling as a group to tournaments and
the traveling tournament stories and stuff that you get.
Like the stories, the road trips, the places you stop by, like you get to see different stuff. You know what I mean? The conversations in the car ride, the people you're doing it with, like, and especially during COVID, like it was more exciting because like I said, I joined the end of 2019. Pretty much my first competition was 2020. And so like I only experienced the COVID years. And so like the IBJJF was only coming out certain ones. And so it's like, oh,
Yeah, I think they were only
pop up
doing maybe
New
once a
Orleans.
month,
And
just
so,
'cause
like,
the venues
I
and
remember
stuff like that.
we drove to New Orleans, and it was a good drive. You know what I mean? Like, and I'd never been to New Orleans, and and so I got to go to New Orleans, and I'm like, man, dude, I like New Orleans, like, and I still want to go back. Like, I haven't even been back since either. And like, I was like, dude, I want to go, you know, and so like went to New Orleans, drove. We was all in cars driving up there.
4 days later, we turned back and drove to Texas for no-gi pans. I think that was the last time I competed at no-gi. I was a purple belt. So
yeah, and then we went to no-gi pans the week after, and then after that, the week after that, drove to Memphis. That was my first blue belt tournament, and so like I did that one. You know what I mean? Made it to the finals, crapped the bed. Obviously, you know what I mean? Executed a perfect plan. You know what I mean? Took the guy down, passed in the first one.
I was doing good until I wasn't.
Classic story.
Crap the bed, you know, but like, yeah. And so we went there. Kyle actually did that one.
Oh, yeah.
And so I was like, man, Kyle's actually going to compete in this one. Like, not for nothing. Like, I was like, dude, he done did all the big stuff, UFC, everything like that. I was like, man, I just figured he'd probably just be done with it. And I was like, oh, cool, man. Like, I actually get to see Kyle compete. Like, this is cool. You know what I mean? Like, because like at that point, you know what I mean? I wasn't really, besides Josh, seeing black belts like that we knew compete, you know what I mean? Like, or I knew of two people, but actually knowing them, like, or training with them even, it was like different. And so like to have a team, you know what I mean? I think Junior went out there too. And so like, and Kyle took 3 golds, and I was like,
yeah,
oh man, like, and then like, that's when I kind of knew about strategy, because I was like, well, what works best for you? Dude, Kyle was getting the 2, and he was getting it every time. And so it
trip,
yep.
man.
And here's the
so
thing,
good at that.
it doesn't even matter.
You know it's coming. It's
You,
like,
here's the
why
thing,
am I?
his opponents got to know it's coming. Does not matter. He's getting it.
Arm drag, inside trick.
And here's the thing, because and that's when I knew
so good at it.
It wasn't about speed. It was about timing. And so like he like, I kind of knew about playing the edges, you know what I mean, timing the certain thing, or even if I'm in guard, timing the wrestle up, or a sweep to the ankle lock, you know what I mean? Like, it's timing. And so like I kind of see how that was playing by him. So I got that like experience. Junior, the way he compete or how he coaches, got that experience. You know what I mean? We went out to Brazilian Steakhouse. Imagine that. Afterwards, over there in Memphis, and because it was the Memphis Open, and so got to do that. Got to eat as a team, and I was like, you know, this is pretty cool. First blue belt. Now I'm like, dude, I'm anchored in there. You know what I mean? I'm a color belt. Got my first.
I feel like once you get to purple belt anymore, I think in this era, it's like you're like, used to see people disappear, but I'd say like even once you get to purple belt, it's pretty much 95%. Because I will leave a little stragglers. You're gonna get your black belt. You know what I mean?
Stick around.
Yeah, you sit, because I mean, heck, you got such, like, even with our team, it's like you got such a great team. You got enough good coaches, everybody, and enough training. It's like, man, you're gonna. I mean,
you got enough classes.
Like, you don't want to leave the family, you know.
No,
like,
you know what I mean.
It's
used to see people.
Group,
yeah, you see,
you know?
I feel like that's
people
why
disappear,
people left.
but yeah,
because like if they had a job where they couldn't make only 3 night classes a week, and that was the only thing that was available around,
that too.
You was gone for a year. Now it's like this. It don't even matter if they're working midnights or whatever. If they're offering 3 classes a day, at least 5 days a week, you could at least train. And with the weekend open mat, if you only made 1 class a week and then an open mat, you're still training twice a week.
Yeah.
You go to the gym and lift, whatever you do. If that's what you do, you're at least getting to exercise 3 days a week. And so it's like at the minimum, you're able to at least get
you're
some
you're
type
still
of
on
fixing
track.
in.
Yeah, and you're
you know
still
what I mean?
on
To
track
where
too,
you haven't
sure.
left off the board. You just haven't been playing your pieces, you know what I mean? But you're there. You know what I mean? And you're still irrelevant. You're still under an instructor. You know what I mean? There's still available gyms that you could go to. We got affiliates. If I can't even make mine, you know what I mean? I could go to another affiliate's open mats. Heck, between our Sunday, Junior's Friday, and what does Kyle do Wednesday?
I think in the mornings or something. Monday, Wednesday. I mean, dude, that's what I'm saying. Even
dude,
right there, that's
so
5 mornings a week.
And I love, dude, I need to actually start hitting that, because I love training during the day. That's what I'm saying. So, and I'm close to there. I'm closer to his than I actually am Josh's, because I sit on the Belleville Fairview side. So it's like, it's right there. I think to Josh's, it's like 28 or 26 minutes. To Kyle's, it's 20.
Yeah.
And so it's like, you know what I mean? But like, if I did say, I'm like, okay, I got to work evening.
That's what I'm saying.
I could hit Kyle's open mat. Then I could sit here, go to work all week. If I'm doing nights now, you gotta think I could still hit juniors on Friday.
Shit, you could go 2 hours in the morning on Mondays and Wednesdays. They got 10 a.m.
10 a.m.
fundamentals.
Yeah, it's a 10 a.m. class.
10 a.m.
11
then
to
open
12:30 open mat.
So that's what I'm saying. You hit that, you hit juniors, and then you hit Josh on Sunday. That's 3 a week.
Yeah.
Heck, I think I train like 4, and on good weeks 5. But if I have a slow week, I might only do 2 or 3, just depending on how the week goes. If I'm doing something with a business, or I'm open up here, or you know what I mean, if I'm doing family stuff, or whatever it is, you know what I mean, like, and or maybe I can't make it at this time, or you know, whatever the case is, you know what I mean, like I feel like you could at least do 2 or 3 days a week, no matter what, and I feel like at least if you're doing 2 or better, you're
at least you're staying in there. You're not completely gone, for sure.
Because even now, like even with all these classes, I've been busy enough sometimes, or watching kids, or couldn't leave the house to the point to where it's like, dude, I might have been out for a week. You know what I mean? And then the next week, I done trained 6 days. You know what I mean?
Make up for that lost
time.
time.
Yeah, like so it's like you could play with it.
I didn't get to train this week. Let me train 7 days, and you're like, fuck, I injured myself.
You're less busy. You're feeling better. You're driving around. You know what I mean? Like you're mobile. You're able to hit, like, heck, one day you might hit 2 classes in a day. You might hit a 2 a day. So you take the next day off, and then you hit 3 open mats. You done train 5 times this week. You know what I mean? Heck, you're feeling like a full-time competitor then. Mm-hmm. Hey, look, that hobbyist feeling just felt like, man, I could go win a world title. Then the next week you're back in the gym 2 days. Then you go back, you know what I mean, after taking a 3-day layoff, and you're like, oh man, let me get my bearings in.
That's the thing that I had
beat
to
up by a bigger guy.
Adapt to, because like even like you said, you know, even hitting like 2, maybe 3 days a week, it's like that's actually still really good. Like you're still relevant, but then you got that little tick in the back of your mind where you're like, yeah, but I don't know if it's enough for me to get comp ready. You know, so like as the competitor side of me, it's like, man, I kind of got to be in a little bit more, but like sometimes I'm like, hold on, like you're still getting your rounds. It's like, chill out. Like, you know, if you got something coming up, then maybe, but you know, you always feel like, man, I got something, you know, and then you feel like, oh, I only went 3 times this week. I didn't get to go. And it's like, chill out. And then I'm getting to the point now, my body's so beat up. I'm like, yeah, because if I push 5 this week, I might get injured. It's been a rough week already.
Yeah, you got to feel that. I mean, that's something that over the last 2 years, I've really, like, after dealing with some injuries, like I've being a little bit smarter about training. Cause like, man, when I first started, I was like, I don't fucking care if this hurts. I'm just gonna I'm gonna train around. I'm gonna tell them like, hey, just watch the Kimura on my right arm. My shoulders bother, you know, like shit like that. But now I'm like, all right, let me take a few days off. Let's kind of
it's one of those you feel behind. Like sometimes you get to a certain point, like, cause even if you're like a lower belt in the gym, even like blue belt days, you're just like, man, I'm kind of behind. No, I need to be in here. And it's like, dude, you ain't gonna rush it anyway. It's like, dude, you're. And
I feel like with the color belts too, like especially like purple anyway. And up, even when I go with somebody, it's like, okay, if it's open mat or even whatever it is, dude. Honestly, like I could come out hard, but you know what I do? I just feel out. So if they're giving me 50, I do 50. They're giving me 80, I do 80. So it's not even about like
match their pace.
Yeah. So like honestly, a lot of times you find yourself rolling with the upper belts, you're really not getting injured anyway because it's like this. You guys are all feeling each other out anyway. Like, and I'll be the first one to be like, hey, look, I'm going to go off the field. Now, granted, at least, and especially if it's the first two, I'm not even coming out hard because like, why? It's like this, my 20-minute warm up, I'm still not warmed up.
We didn't do the cartwheels. You didn't do 15 minutes of cartwheels. You're not warmed up.
I got to get 3 rounds in to be like, all right, you know what I mean? Now the 4th one, it's like this, all right. Now I'm shooting for stuff.
That's what Josh Inger, I heard him say something too. He was talking about that. He was like, yeah, he's like, even for tournaments, he's like, you got to like almost do like, he's like, even like talking about some of his perfect warm-ups. He's like, do some rounds. He's like, cause it's just like, even in a gym, he's like, for real. He's like, even if you're a master's guy, it's like, it's going to take you three rounds to really actually get into something anyway. Like do 15 minutes of like actually jiu-jitsu movement. Then you're like, oh, okay. You know, unless you did your 15 minutes of fucking cartwheels, I don't know. Then you might be warmed up or dizzy, one of the two. But you know,
I want to go back to something that Erik said earlier about flipping a switch and knowing like I'm I'm going to win this fucking thing. Now, do you think that mentality was developed by doing jiu-jitsu, or was that something that you always had in you?
I kind of had a little bit of a switch. It's just like I use it for positive now, but like, yeah. And I think also like I had to adapt it to a jiu-jitsu format too. You know what I mean? Like how the warm up was or whatever. But like even when this last one, like I could feel it. Like I was like, all right, you know what I mean? But like I used to overthink it, and I'm like, no, look, you ain't got to overthink it. Like it's just like how you train regular in the rounds, like your hardest rounds that you train at your home gym. You know what I mean? But here's the thing, just with a little extra like bite on it, like where it's just gonna be like
where you break that foot.
Yeah, or like where you
foot.
go hard enough to where you're like, man, I'm going hard, but like, you know, the like that one thing that you know you're like this, and you don't really even realize it, but like that one thing where it's like maybe even just punching the collar in gi, like into the neck, where you're like, I'm just not gonna do that. I'm gonna make my you'll be so aggressive, but everything you do is clean, right? Well, just like not clean it up and just kind of leave it a little dirty and just like, look, even if it scrapes and you kind of like punch the nose a bit on it, you do
still going hard, but it's not your
all
training
the extra
partner.
switches, and then you just know when once you guys slap bump and then you grab, then the switch kind of initially kicks in, and if it doesn't, the switch will warm up into it. So it's like it might be after the first couple of moves, and then you're like, oh, okay. Or maybe you might have almost got caught with something, and then you're like, oh no, I'm snapping into it now. He's not doing that again. You know, but like usually like this time, like I was more calm. And I just went out there like I knew that I was prepared, and I was like, dude, I'd been training in my garage, dude, in 100 degrees to where we're sweating, dude, doing like 8 rounds, dude, doing 7 and 8 minute rounds in the garage. And so like I trained for this knowing that I was like this. It does not matter because they're not going to be like the garage rounds to where, you know what I mean, I'm losing 5 and 6 pounds in the garage for a training session. And so I'm like, I did it purposely to where I'm like, even if the round could be harder, it's going to be lesser time, and it's going to be in an air conditioned place to where it's like, oh, it's not going to feel as bad. And so like, I just went out there and I kind of knew, like, confident in my training, and then also knew like, hey, look, I know my skill. Just apply what you really want to do. Like forget even the tournament. What are you good at? Focus on just getting there. And then that's when your jiu-jitsu starts. Here's the thing, because your real jiu-jitsu ain't going to start until you get where you want to be. And that will be your best jiu-jitsu. And so like, once you get there, that's when that flip switches as well. Like the flip switches when you're coming out to the mat, boom, all right, it's go time. When you slap and bump and you do the initial grab, boom, that's like another layer switch. You know what I mean? Then when you get to where you want to be, that's where your comfort switches to where you're like, all right, now you're like in flow state where you're like, you're not in competition no more. It's just you and that guy, and you're just like, you're in the role trying to win the role. You done forgot about everybody else. And that's like the third switch. So I like also like between flipping the switch, it's also like switches in between, like to where you get into different comfort states. And like once you get to where you want to be, it's like, all right, now you're playing your game. Now it's like Sunday open mat. You know what I mean? But everything you're putting on is just an extra bite, you know?
Yeah, and I would even say, like, I think a lot of times, even like at really high level jiu-jitsu matches you'll watch and stuff, and then sometimes it's like, you know, even at black belt, it's like, man, you know, this one guy's like super dominant, but this guy's still like right neck and neck with him. And then you kind of see the one who's able to execute their game plan kind of wins. So it's like, it's one of those, that's part of the competition strategy. I feel it's like, if you can execute your game plan, I think that guy will probably have more of an edge than the guy who, like, let's say he's better, but he's got to think more on the fly. You know, I feel like if you kind of have some type of thing like that, that'd probably be in certain situations or transitions. The guy who has a game plan, who's expected that to happen, is already going to know what to happen. So he might have just a little bit better timing. And, you know, especially at high level competition.
And rule set too. Like I've seen better athletic guys kind of get out advantaged and stuff like that. just by like even like knowing the rule sets
That
and like
too.
playing
Yep.
the edges, and you know what I mean, you practice that rule set. So like here's the thing, like even like at the last tournament I just went to, like at the ADCCs, like they played the edges, like the turtle position was big, like you know what I mean, you got somebody boom muscling trying to get a takedown, dude turtles out, you know what I mean, seats guard, wrestles up, puts you on the back, scores. But you're like, man, I just did everything for this takedown, but it didn't count because how the rule set was, or he played the edges or whatever, or you know what I mean, he waited on the sweep, got his point, you know what I mean, or he let you take him down, but then after the 2.5 minutes, points went into effect. He swept you and passed the guard, and he timed you from a guard where he was most comfortable at. So he didn't care about the takedown. His focus was, let me get where I want to be. That might have been the half guard. Then he waited till them points, wrestled up, and just held the body lock, got the 2, and he rid that too. So, and this was a guy who was probably better, you know what I mean, better athletic, and obviously was a better wrestler, got took down, but the dude just played his jiu-jitsu to the rule set better and won, and I seen it. And I was like, man, you know, and it just got me thinking like, you know, like this is the game we play too. Like, you know what I mean? Like not only train for your jiu-jitsu, but if you got a tournament coming up, you know what I mean? Train them rule sets. You know what I mean? Because me, like for my tournament, I had the exact replica mats of the ADCCs in my garage at the ones that, so when I stepped on the mats, I was like, man, I'm in my garage.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And dude, it was so big, just that. Like I said, it was the most comfortable I've probably been in a tournament.
Yeah, you ever step on a competition mat,
and
you
like,
know, and it's different. You always get that kind of like, oh, okay, this
like,
mat might be a little bit different than what I'm used to training on a little bit, or it's, you know, it's smooth. It's not tatami textured. It's not, you know, and sometimes, you know, you get on there and just that little bit of unfamiliarness can be like a little bit like against you sometimes.
Just
you
a
know?
second of hesitation.
A second of hesitation.
So like
you know?
even like if you do some rounds, like, you know what I mean, like I know at our gym we'll have one like competition night where we're gonna do a lot of bad position, and then like even like for the nogi one that I teach, maybe I'm gonna do like say like comp round where like maybe you do like a certain rule set, like especially if our guys are getting ready for ACC opens or wherever, I want to do their rule set, but like maybe do like focus like for certain positions for the month to where like we're working this position and how it works for this rule set, especially if it's a month before the tournaments. And then I also want to do like an open train, maybe open mats to where like, hey, you know, we got to where like maybe we set the timer up and then we only have like 2 guys rolling to where like maybe we're coaching them. So you could just get a little spike to where like even your friends, because like it's the same people watching you. You guys are winning, or the guys who you're training with, right? So you kind of want to win in front of them and it'll implement the same thing. So like just maybe like once a week, hit one of those just to like where you thought you forgot. Nope. You know what I mean? Get back in the mode. You know what I mean? And just, it just kind of makes you just stay ready to where like, even me, I'm not a hyper competitor, nothing like that, but I am a competitor, but I always train for competition. I could be a hyper competitor, but you know what I mean? It's not my job. Like I'll probably, when we open the gym, probably be competing more and coaching more and taking teams more places. And that's kind of what I want to work at. But like, you know, just initial stuff like that, you know, I think rule sets and stuff like that plays factors into that. And so, you know.
Speaking of coaching and opening your gym and being fathers, how has fatherhood influenced the kind of instructors you guys want to be?
Ooh, that's a good one.
Probably, honestly, like not sending kids off doing crazy stuff, like kind of just like, and it's not about win or losing for me. It's just like, honestly, I'm just happy if they do it. Like, you know what I mean? Like get into it because I know it'll save your life like it saved mine. And so like for me, it's just, you know, getting you in there and honestly just showing you, you know what I mean? And introducing you to like even the bigger picture in this things to make you feel like, oh, wow, like I'm a part of something, like this is positivity. Like I could pursue this, you know what I mean? And give them something to look forward to, you know what I mean? Because that's what kids want. They like things. They like going places. They want to look forward to things, whether it's toys, birthday parties. They want to look forward to things. So I feel like if you give them stuff to look forward to, different stuff that they ain't just seeing at home or whatever, like they'll get hooked. Mom, Dad, I want to continue doing this and things like that. Or for mine, even, you know what I mean? Just showing them like, hey, look, there's just more to outside than just the regular stuff that like home or school offers you. Like it's kind of like an outside program, you know what I mean, that you could do, and it'll be a hobby for you, fun. If you want to pursue it, you can pursue it. If you want to keep it as a hobby, I still think it's a great one because it'll still make you better at whatever it is you want to do because it makes you comfortable around people. It like jujitsu is a big icebreaker. Like think about for us to just go in there, hey man, what's up, and just grab each other and choke each other out without being mad. You got to be a super understandable,
weird individual,
weird
for sure,
and be comfortable with doing that. You know what I mean? And that's the thing about it. Like, you know what I mean? Just being comfortable with like, it's an icebreaker. Like, I feel like kids won't be as shy because if you're used to choking people, confidence, and you're choking people on the mat, but like, you know what I mean? You're comfortable with like accidentally slapping somebody in the face or eating an elbow or elbowing somebody and, oh, my bad. And you're doing, you'll be okay with like talking to people and, you know what I mean? It give you the initial edge to like meet and make new friends, or if you're opening up a business, comfortable with talking to them about maybe selling something or whatever you got going on. Like it just makes you comfortable. So I think for the kids and, you know what I mean, fatherhood aspect of it, you know what I mean, keeping your kids out of trouble, you know what I mean, making your kids better men, you know what I mean, giving them more opportunities than even what you had, and just giving an open playing field of positivity success versus, you know what I mean, success at a negative rate. Like, yeah, you could do this, but it's negative. It could end you up here, or, you know what I mean? Like, I just want a positive road and, you know what I mean, a clear path for these children to be like, hey, look, whether it's a hobby or profession, you could do this and they'll help you no matter what, either way.
I think for me, what being a father, how it helped me in jujitsu, because I remember doing jujitsu and stuff before I became a father, but I just can't really remember. So I remember a lot of it. I was doing a lot of jujitsu when I was a father. So I would say it gave me patience. So like even with me teaching, like obviously being a father, you got to teach your kids everything, right? You got to teach them how to walk. You got to, you got to be patient with them. They're going to not listen, the attention spans, all that stuff that comes with it. So it's just like even teaching somebody jujitsu, they're not going to get it at first. And so instead of getting like really frustrated, it's just helped me like, okay, well, maybe let me create a different language, let's say. So, okay, let me see if this way of me teaching this certain position or move didn't help you. All right, let me see if there's another way I could teach you this same thing to where you can grasp it or relate. Like just finding a common ground in that every student or every person you have interactions with in jiu-jitsu are going to learn jiu-jitsu differently. And so, I'd say it's gave me a lot of patience for sure. Yeah. And especially, being a father to all girls, it's like, I feel like I got a lot of patience because I still, even to this day, I'm a black belt, dude, not in my house. I'm not a fucking black belt in my house. Nobody cares about that shit, dude. Dad, I need whatever makeup. I don't even know what you're talking about. Yeah. Like, I haven't even found that language out yet. It's like, I'm still trying to navigate that. Like, oh, you're a black belt? Yeah, that's cool. I don't even know what's going on right now.
So you got 4 girls?
Yes, sir.
How old are they?
So I got one that's turning 8 tomorrow. Okay. Oh, nice. I got a 10-year-old. I got one that's going to be 18 in November, and then one that's 22.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
That's crazy. And you're a grandpa too, right?
Yep. So my little baby Samaya, she's probably about a month and a half-ish now. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, it's cool. They'll be doing jujitsu now. It came a thing where I'm like, dude, hell, I'm just creating my own Valkyrie team, like on fucking Avengers, like, a fucking warrior of just all women jujitsu practitioners. That's kind of going to be my thing. I might even start a Valkyrie program, and it all just consists of is just my daughters. Yeah. Like we'll have a women's only program. It's like, yeah, you guys can do that. This is just my daughters. Yeah. So at least I can, they could do whatever. Maybe we'll just wear fucking Avengers costumes and train in that shit. I don't know. That'll be the class.
And how many kids do you have, Erik?
Oh man, so I got 4 or 5 kids and 8 grandkids.
What? Wow. Dude, yeah. Jesus, at 35. That's crazy, 35. Dude.
Yeah. My oldest is I think turning 30 this year, Chris.
It's crazy.
Now, what was it like coming into like having a blended family and then stepping into that father role with your partner's kids that they've already had?
Yeah, mine was, it felt pretty easy. So like, I don't know, like I don't know. I just felt accepted. Like I was just one of those guys. Like I was just always a naturally like good guy. Like I knew what I was getting into. I came into this situation very mature. Like yeah, everybody's got a past. You know, whatever. You know, just getting some type of common ground. You know, with the kids and just like you know being you know introducing a new. You know, you just be like I'm not gonna force nothing yet. You know, let's just be friends. Let's just develop a relationship and then just kind of grow the relationship and see what happens, you know, and it just became, you know, really good. And, you know, they're my daughters, you know what I mean? And stuff like that. And so, yeah, I mean,
how long have you been in their lives?
14 years.
Okay.
Wow.
So, I mean, yeah. So
long.
it's like, yeah, you know, I got, I think Gabrielle, I think she was 3. Asia was maybe 6, 7, I think. And so it's like I said, you know, one's about to be, you know, last year of high school. The other one, you know, did the college thing already, got a kid, you know, grandkid now, you know, and stuff, and just being a mom herself now. So I mean, it's just to get to see a whole lot of different stages, and then it's like, yeah, and it's like, all right, cool. Now it's like I'm getting all these markers. It's like I got the black belt. Dude, I'm a fucking grandpa. You know what I mean? It's like, let's go, dude. So now it's like, you know, last couple months, it's been like, yeah, you know, I'm a grandpa. I'm like, dude, let's go. So like the podcast I did with Josh that day, I think what was it, the night before I became a grandpa.
Whoa.
So it's like that morning, I'm like, yeah, after I left the session, I'm like, yeah, I gotta go to the hospital.
I gotta go.
So I can go,
Yeah.
you know,
Meet
meet my granddaughter, you know what I mean?
Damn,
And
that's
so
cool.
it's like, now I'm like, oh, I'm grandpa in here. So I'm like, yeah, dude, you know, I got an excuse, you know, but now it's like, dude, you're getting your ass beat by a grandpa, dude.
Yeah.
You got to work on your
Grandpa
shit.
jujitsu.
Yeah, grandpa
Should've been the name
jujitsu.
of it.
You got to work on your shit, you know. But yeah, I mean, it's been definitely cool to like hit these milestones and stuff. And it's like, you know, from being a grandpa, you know, black belt, you know, having a little ups and downs with like even our program to now we're like, dude, we're solidifying a fucking place to have Arias Bros Jiu-Jitsu. It's just like, it's been a long time fucking coming. Because
So what's the story with you guys starting your own place?
so we secured a building. We started our program at the end. Was it like kind of probably the end of 23?
I
Yeah.
say mid, because I went to the trials towards the end and we was already.
I know. I remember the
and
whole time I
stuff.
was training for Masters Worlds because I know I did Masters and then we
I'd
left.
say about maybe maybe end. We probably about a month
So
in,
about the end of
something.
2023.
Yeah.
We started a program, you know, shout out to TJ Boyd, man. Great freaking guy. He's one of our blue belts, man, military veteran, owned the strongman gym and just gave
Super
us
strong.
gave us a place to just kind of start it. Cause I've always been like, yeah, I knew I wanted to. And at first I was like, I'm just going to wait till I'm a black belt. Cause it's just for me personally, I'm like, I just want to make sure I'm the best instructor I can be. I got a better understanding of jiu-jitsu than, you know, than at the current situation I had when I was even a thought in my mind. Because I knew I could have probably been a good instructor even at purple belt and stuff like that. But I was like, you know, I just want to be a black belt.
Well,
Get the
when
thing.
people are looking at places to join, it's like if they want to join, they want to see a black
It's
belt
more of a
there,
marketing
you know?
thing
It
now.
is.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Because it's like, what are you going to separate between the next gym that might be, you know, 15 miles? It's like, oh, if they're black belt, you know, to the non, we all know it's like, dude, you could be purple belt Andrew Tackett and you're fucking just be like, dude, yeah, greatest practitioner in the world. And we're like, dude, who's that guy with like 7 pieces of tape on his fucking black belt?
He's got to be a better one.
Got to be better, but he's 80 years old. He's got to be the man. No, he ain't the man. You know what I mean? But it's like, to somebody who doesn't know the jiu-jitsu world, you know, they're like, oh man, he's the black belt. Yeah, my 12-year-old has a 2nd degree black belt.
Half the black belts are getting beat up by 15-year-olds.
You ain't kidding, dude. I'm scared to go in high schools. No, but you know what I mean. It's like you see that, and it's like, yeah, you got this guy who's, you know, a purple belt. And it's like, but to the other guy, it's like, yeah, well, he's not even a black belt. Well, Sharon's, you know, 12-year-old nephew is a 2nd degree black belt, and it's like, okay. Yeah, but you know what I mean? So for business wise, it's like, yeah, it looks good as a black belt. You know, there's certain things you could probably do, you know, obviously, you know, promoting and stuff. That's always, you know, it's a good business factor too, I guess. But I just wanted to be a black belt when I did it. But then TJ came along with it like, hey, and I was a brown belt at the time. And he was like, yeah, we got this spot. And he was a buddy from back home. I've known him for at least a decade. And he was like, yeah, we can get something going here. And I'm like, you know what, bring it a little bit back home. I'm like, all right, man. And so we started at the end of 23. Unfortunately, had lost the place or whatever, and just kind of was like hitting rocky roads, just still like, promoting the brand though. It's like, even though we didn't have a place, we're like, yeah, we're promoting the brand,
still competing under the brand and everything.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Just still kind of just flying the flag, if you'd say, and whatnot, just kind of being like, yeah, we're still here. Don't worry. It's coming. It's coming. It's coming, and, I was even doing it a little bit out of the old VFW in Carlisle, where he's currently having his strongman team now. He does his, all that stuff out of the old VFW. So kudos to those guys for letting him use that spot, because he's a good guy and he's bringing a lot of good stuff to the community. But, it just wasn't feasible. I was like, man, I need something where I could kind of push this a little bit more full time. Like, but we're still kind of striving for the gym. And then it's like, finally, we've been in the works for about 5 months, kind of figuring out an exact spot, when we're going to go. And, we popped it, like, what was it, a few days back, got the keys or whatever. And just
That's
like,
awesome. Congratulations.
Yeah. It's like,
That's
so once
awesome.
it's like, we went to, Oklahoma, and we got all our equipment like 2 weeks
Throw
ago.
a box truck. To go
You know
pick
what
up
I
the
mean?
mats.
Because, Terrace is a mother. We're like, dude, I'm a carpenter. So I'm like, dude, I'm going to work for mine. Like, hold on, let's not pay for shipping. I'll
box truck.
yeah, it's like this, dude, let's
Save
save
about
it. You know what I
$3,000.
mean? You're
It's like,
saving
I mean,
a
here's
couple
the thing for a
paychecks
trip.
type deal. It's like, let's
Like,
go.
why not?
And so we went up there, grabbed the stuff, grabbed the equipment, wall pads, mats, and everything like that. And then we got the building. So now it's just like kind of finishing business touches and just like kind of decorating the gym, getting it set up. So we're in the stages of that. And so hopefully in the next, few weeks or whatever, we'll.
Yeah, and shout out to Blake too from Century Mats
Yeah,
with Gameness, because dude, like he hooked me up on
yeah,
the price
man,
too.
most definitely, dude.
Really good guy. Just ordered a trimming and border too for my mats, and
Definitely
gave me a
ate some
good
costs
price
on
on
that for sure.
You know what I
yeah.
mean? Definitely a good guy. And if you guys are hearing this too, from Gameness, if you want to give me an athlete sponsor too, I will wear your brand.
I will
go
tag
to the
them
big
in
tournaments.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'll wear your stuff to the ADCCs. I plan on doing the trials here in Orlando, and yeah. So if you guys hear that and want to, I mean, I'm shopping with you guys. I got the wholesale with you guys.
Get the Arias Bros Grandpas,
Yeah.
duo team.
Yeah,
I mean,
like-
I don't know any duo team brothers that are
We're
competing right
spending
now that
with
are
you guys.
grandpas.
Let's go.
I mean, let's go, dude.
You know?
It's the
But,
Arias Bros, the Arias Grandpas.
The Arias
Yeah.
grandpas, dude. We'll definitely wear Arias
Shoot,
grandpas
Masters
on a
3.
crash guard
Shoot,
for the right
Masters for threes
sponsorship.
come, that's probably what I'm going to
Show up with a walker.
You'll walk, dude. I mean, look.
Shoot, the walker's going to be on the logo. It's going to be cracked.
Hey, a cane broke. I was just thinking like a cane broken. It's being like getting right next to it, like a foot broken. I don't know.
Yeah.
Right on brand.
It'd be like, and that's mine.
Yeah, no kidding.
Oh, man, that's awesome. So,
Yeah.
Well, how do you guys balance the whole with being twins, training partners, business partners? How do you guys handle all that without really wanting to kill each other?
I don't know, man. Like, it's not even that
I don't
bad.
know.
Like,
It's
I
never been an issue. Like,
Right.
I've always been like, hey, look, if I got it, you got it. Like, I don't know. Like,
I think we both just got the goal of like, yeah, we just want it to be successful. So it's
yeah,
like,
we
let's
literally
try
want
to-
the same thing. Like, and so it doesn't even matter.
And me, like,
I
I would like to make it to where that is, obviously it's going to take time, but like that is my job, just being a full-time coach. So it's one of those where it's like, I know I'm going to have to work at it. There's no rush, but besides that, and making enough money, for bills and things like that, I'm not a guy that's ever been like I wanted to be super rich or anything. Like I honestly hate money, to be honest. I don't like it. I just want enough. If there's a certain number where it's enough to where I could just like be comfortable, provide for my daughters, my household, and just like a little extra, I'm cool, And so, I mean, coming from, I've worked blue collar forever, work for everything I got. And so, and it's one of those, like, it's a good career, but, you're not like some rich, crazy guy, when you're in blue collar, you got to work for literally every dollar you have. And so I never really liked money. And, I just felt like, I kept the values that I have, I feel like money, I've seen a lot of people with similar core values and stuff, and it just messes that up. And so I've always been the one that's like, I'm never going to let money ruin relationships. I'm never going to, and so I try to keep that as much as possible. Obviously, money's a huge factor that makes this world go around. So it's kind of hard to do things without it. But most definitely it's one thing that I try to keep far away, to keep my, core values of like, hey, I'm still going to be the same guy. I wouldn't want money to change me, but at the same time, I need it to make it, to kind of make the business grow to where I can do, the profession of being a full-time instructor, do it the best of my possibility is going to be based on, as much money comes. Yeah. It's like you getting more money, but it's nothing that, obviously, if I wanted to be rich, I wouldn't be opening up a jiu-jitsu gym anyway. There's
I'd open up a facility like this. I thought I didn't want money.
Yeah,
and I'm like, oh yeah, never mind.
I literally
Eric, get back to it.
I mean,
you know what you want. You want to.
I don't know, man. I might just drop off and be like, dude, I mean, hunting, whiskey, and cigars. I mean, wait a minute.
Dude,
like,
here's the thing. I'm gonna be honest, dude.
I'll trade the gym in.
No, here's the thing. I'm gonna be honest though. Like,
I'm gonna ask if they want to buy the gym, trade full-time membership, and you can keep Arias Bros.
How do you not like? I mean, I guess they got the gym there. I mean, I know I'm disciplined, so but like, even for somebody who like, because I don't drink or nothing like that, but like for somebody who drink and smoke cigars, like, dude, man, like,
it's tough.
You get comfy.
I mean, dude, I'm looking over there.
Like, why are you going home?
Got the bullet
I mean,
there.
Here's the thing. I'll be going home at 9 o'clock at night every night.
I mean, there's nights, yeah.
No, yeah. I mean,
last week there was
fun.
There was a happy hour up here, and Zach showed up late. I
showed up to do the sauna cold plunge. He's like, yeah, I'll join you. And he's up here drinking.
Yeah. Dude,
hey, I did the sauna and cold plunge afterwards.
I mean,
he came
dude,
and sweated it out.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of it, man. Like, that's where I get. It's like, dude, I like, dude, and that's the thing. I'd like social drinking. It's like, whatever. Hate me for it, but it's like I don't mind, and I like a little bit of drinking, man. Like it's cool. Like I don't ever try to overindulge, but like it's gotten to some points where I'd go through spurts. I'm like, maybe I did a little too much, the past couple months. I gotta dial it back. But like, yeah, even this last job I was on, man, we were getting like free open bars at the gun club like all the time. And it was like, dude, open bars, you. Come on, you're twisting my arm now, dude. Like, I'll tap. You don't even got to twist, It's like, all right, send it down this way. I'll have 3, but no, I like social drinking, but it's like, dude, just even have something like that. It's like, yeah, dude, I'll try.
That's a dangerous part about up here, because at any given time, you can walk out there, you got the beer fridge, and there's always someone out there that you could hang out and talk to. And they're all fucking cool people.
Dude,
so
it's such a great environment. Like I was walking there, I'm like, dude, you can do that. It's like this. Everybody's trying to like network something, so you can. It's like one of those you can get. You could do that and still be productive.
I really been to a place like this.
You can still be productive.
It was like an actual hangout club / business office. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like now that makes me be like, well, man, in my jiu-jitsu gym, should I put a club in there too?
We just need to. We just need to move. We just need to have a purpose to have an office over here,
like
like the hunting lodge.
Yeah,
just to hang out.
We'll get an office over here and just be like, yeah, I'm going to the office. The one at the gym? No. I left papers over there. I'll be late. Yeah, might be about 5 hours. 5 hours from now, I'll see you later.
Cooking.
Yeah. I'll grab something on the way.
Working on getting jiu-jitsu started up here.
Yeah,
dude, that'd be cool, man. Like, you know what I mean? It's definitely a place like everybody who comes up here, or whatever. It's like, dude, it's an addition. It's another addition. Like that'd make this like the ultimate club. It's like you literally have everything I got up here.
And you already got some wall pads put up. Like it's cool.
You catch me like, what? Ain't you got? Don't you got to teach class tonight? Why are you over there with Zach and them? It's like,
that's an addition. Like I think you, especially in this area, I think why not?
Yeah, like I said, I never.
If not do a full blown. Gym ordeal. I mean, you got real estate, you got this, you know what I mean? At least make it like a consistent consignment like program, even like just add a jiu-jitsu program to this club,
here for sure.
You know what I mean?
Do something where it's like a decent
to like
schedule
the membership
or
or however
nothing
you guys
overboard
do.
too. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Maybe you can make some coin off of it, just, for your expertise and your time and, you
get rich off of jiu-jitsu.
I think it'd be
it's just as another place to get in a role.
I've talked about
that too.
And I mean that's what we've done. Like me and one of the black belts, he just came up here the other day and we just rolled for 40 minutes on those mats, and then
that's all I like.
It's kind of what you look for anyway. Sometimes like heck, like we like right before we got the gym, we'd set up in his garage. We probably had like 4, like, so probably like those, like the 2 pieces that make a 10x10. We had like 8 of them. So we had 4 of those in his garage. So 10 of them, whatever.
One we didn't even put
Yeah,
down.
then we made like a wall pad, but we had like 400 square feet. But we were like, yeah, we're going to do this for the next couple months just to kind of get ready. And like, we'd be in the garage and we'd have like a couple brown belts, like 3 black belts, a few purple belts. Like we have 10 guys there. And I'm like this, and I had to look and I just start laughing and they're like, dude, what's wrong? And I'm like, I remember when there was a point where there was like 3 black belts, 4 black belts in the whole entire state of Illinois. But like to go see a black belt, you had to drive like 2 hours or 100 miles in any direction. And I think maybe even in Missouri at the time, there might have been 2. Might have been. And it's like, now I was like this, dude, we're in my brother's
garage right there. So like,
wow.
the wall pads.
Yeah, it's like we're in my brother's garage, and I'm like, dude, there's fucking 2, 3 black belts here. It's like that is fucking
still got
nuts.
those. So
you know,
dang it.
it's
like that Saturday roll. You guys have any?
Yeah, like I was telling you, my buddy's got a roofing company, and he like matted out a whole corner of the warehouse. I mean, we can get 5 pairs in there.
That's what I'm saying. But that's the thing. But like even now, it's like look how easy it is. It's like, but before you'd sit there and be like, oh, I gotta drive an hour somewhere, and then just to train, and then it's like
instructors to where you could set up shops and it'd be legit.
You know what I mean? Now you could go somewhere and it's like you
guys.
just get a couple friends together, and it's like, dude, like if all of us were doing it right here, it's like you'd have 2 purple belts and a fucking black belt, and it's like just to be like, oh, let's go right out here, and it's like, look how easy it is to kind of like navigate training if you had to with and actually get good like instruction and good like level fucking.
Yeah, sounds like I get my ass kicked. Quite
no, I mean, you know, it's like it's crazy, and it's like because I was talking with one of the black belts and like, yeah, there's not a gym that I step in anymore. He was sitting next to me. He's like, where there hasn't been a black belt. I was like, yeah, for sure. Now every gym I go into, there's a black belt. You know, but it's like it's one of those where it's like, man, it's crazy to see, especially on our team. It's like, you know, I went in Wednesday night. I think we had like. It was. I think it ended up being like a smaller class or something. 8 fucking black belts.
Holy
like,
shit!
What the hell? You know what I mean?
And
and it's like, and they were good black belts. It's like, dude, you go in there like you can. And then even the regular belts you see anymore. It's like you look at the room, man. I'm a black belt and I want to duck the whole damn room. You know what I mean? Like fuck there. Maybe a warm up.
That's because you got these kids,
like,
man.
shit,
they
dude.
coming off.
There's no easy rounds no more. I don't think anywhere on our team. You go to any of our gyms, there's going to be no easy rounds anymore. And it's like, dude. I remember when I'm like this, dude. I remember when I was a blue belt, and like it was like I think Josh was a brown belt. I was a blue belt. There might have been like 1 purple belt, 3 blue belts, and then Josh and Steve were brown belts. So it's like there was like everybody was like white belts. But I remember like my first year and a half. Like I would literally there was never a time where I remember taking a break. I would do every fucking round and I'm like, okay, now it's like this, dude, I gotta take a break because the rounds are harder and stuff like that. And it's like, even like after 2 years, I'm like, what the hell, dude? I remember being able to do every round. And now I'm like, I can't do it because I'm already exhausted. Like I can't do every round. You know, I might have to take a round off.
Sounds like you need some testosterone.
Yeah. Well, I know. Well, I mean, hell, I probably just might as well go full blown, dude. Just get on the gear, dude. Get on the acai, man. You know,
those Brazilian supplements.
You know, I seen a Brazilian guy with our last name. I think at Masters Worlds, I think last year, and I'm like, you know what? I think all I got to do is just get on the acai and then like get 2 more middle names. And I don't think I know for sure I'll never lose a ref's decision. Right, you know what I mean?
Learn a few Brazilian words.
Yeah, you know, I'll just kind of, say a few Brazilian words, give the nod, and just look fucking juiced out. And it's like, you're there, dude. You right there. And then with the 3 middle names, I mean, I'm up 6 advantages. You know, he hasn't put them down yet, but it's going to happen, you know, the next 3 minutes.
Saving them for the end.
Yeah, you know, when oh man, I just lost that. Don't worry, I got your advantage. Here you go. No, that wasn't out of bounds, you know. You bring him back. Okay, yeah, he's going to get 2 points, you know.
Oh, man.
Guys, it's been a lot of fun. I really appreciate you guys
coming. Oh, yeah, for sure, brother, for sure.
Is there anything you guys wanted to chat about that we didn't get to?
No, I don't think so. I'd just like to say, you know, obviously, thank you for having us, you know, or whatever.
This is a dope place too.
We'll be posting on, you know, Instagram and everything. We're we'll be posting real soon about the official date for the grand opening, obviously, and
we're gonna share the shit out of this interview.
Yeah,
for sure,
awesome.
dude. We're gonna blow it up.
And go ahead, plug Arias Brothers and
yeah. So Arias Bros, BJJ on Instagram. You can also follow me on Facebook. That's same as Facebook. Arias Bros on Jiu-Jitsu on Facebook. Robert Arias on Facebook. Erik Arias on Facebook. Yeah. You could even follow me at El Chino 1850 on TikTok, whichever stream. I don't really post too much on there anymore, but you could. There's a lot of information on there, matches and stuff. If you just guys want to watch that, but yeah, we'll be posting on all social media soon. There'll be a bunch of stuff, so you won't miss it because there'll be a lot of plugs for sure.
And we'll post the grand opening too. And stuff
yeah, we'll post that.
You guys come out.
Yeah,
we'll have a whole bunch of things.
You know what I mean? Like I plan on having it being at least half as nice as this. if I do half as nice as this, I won. You know what I mean? So
I don't think I could fit that much whiskey inside the office.
Right.
I already
just pull that up at the grand opening.
Dude, they still got. I mean, out there, I'm gonna have to build a bar now. Just to have,
just to store it.
Just to store it, dude.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Yeah.
Can't even fit it. No.
Well, guys, we end the show the same way every time. Not sure if you've watched any of our episodes or not, but before we get you out of here,
I like to play a little game and call it the Tombstone game.
Oh, the tombstone. This sounds great.
Here lies Robert. Here lies Erik. What's it say on your tombstones?
Man, the dude never took a shortcut, worked for everything he had, and was a loving father. Perfect. I think that's what I'd say. Never took any handout, never took the shortcut, pretty much. Something along that line. Never took that easy, free route. Loving father.
It's awesome.
Beautiful.
Erik?
Cliche. God, family, jiu-jitsu.
Love it.
Perfect.
Awesome. Well, thanks again, guys. This was a lot of fun. And thanks to everybody at home that tuned in or listened to this episode. Please hit that subscribe button for us if you haven't done so already. Sir. We're trying to get to 500 subscribers on YouTube before the end of 2025. So help us hit that goal. Hit that subscribe button. Share this episode with a friend. Hit that like button as well. Comment what you thought below. We will see you next time.